But he's just incredible. Christian, this dude, if you haven't heard of him, he's 25 years old. He started Ohm Solar up in Northern California. He's grown it to over 100 reps in like a year and a half, I think, is how long he's been doing it. So absolutely incredible. I'm like, man, if I knew half the stuff when I was that age, it's like insanity to see how much he's been able to grow it. So yeah, he's got a whole recruiting strategy. He recruits off his warm contacts and just has reps, really just kind of the network marketing strategy. Just taking the people that his reps already know and then calling those leads. And that's how he's built his entire company and recruited so many guys. So definitely make sure you tune in for next episode to hear more about that. Hey, but moving on, I did do quite a few podcasts. I was able to crank out like 6-7 podcasts at Solarcon. So I'll be honest, I didn't like go to a ton of these, breakout sessions, main stage. A lot of it was just making sure I take care of y'all that are listening to the show, making sure I have fresh content. And that's how I like to do it, because it's like so many quality people are already at this event. So I know I can get some really good podcast interviews there and not have to sit and, chase people down after. So I did definitely take advantage that way. But yeah, and then just to highlight the next couple of days here, some good speakers presentations I saw. The next day we had the door-to-door panel. It was what's trending this year from door-to-door trailblazers. And so these were like the top guys in door-to-door. You had Sam Taggart was moderating it. Then we had Jaddy Leo. Actually, not sure. Haven't met him. But then Jack Pastrana, who I work with down here in San Diego. Melissa Romiza, Johnny Graham, all freaking studs. So yeah, with them, it was just cool hearing really what it takes to be a top producer in door-to-door. And, had a pretty wide range of topics, but they talked about like same days, work ethic, how much time they put into their craft, what they do, their routines, their schedules. I thought that was some really good, really interesting stuff. Caught part of that one. And let's see, other highlights of that day. Just a side note, they had all these, I thought the exhibit hall was rocking. They had all the vendors that were out there. And so many good things just in that. They had some VR guys that had these VR glasses. They had this like bow and arrow shooting game where you're like battling with people. You have like 4 people you're up against and you're trying to like shoot each other with arrows. You're in like a, castle. So we wasted some time playing that, hanging out. So it's a little bit of fun and games at these events too, right? You're hanging out with your peeps, had some good conversations. But I will say I did probably gain like 6-7 pounds over the weekend. I need to take it easy when I get to these events. They had chip cookies. That's one of the cookie shops out in Utah. They had a booth there, and I would just walk by it every time. I would grab like a handful of cookies every time. They had like fresh cookies right out of the oven, just sitting there, boxes and boxes and boxes. And I'm like, man, how do you resist that? So my willpower is obviously not the greatest. So I grabbed way too many of these cookies. Now I'm paying the price this week. Definitely feel a little bit heavier. Gonna have to get my diet and game a little bit under control a little bit rather. But side note, right? Make sure you have self-control when you go to these events and there's all this food sitting out for you to munch on, because that's how it is with these exhibitors. They're reeling you in with food, with cookies, with treats, with candy, all this stuff. So yeah, sometimes I gotta watch out for that. But side notes, that's a lot of what we were doing is afternoon, just walking around, talking to some of the vendors, doing more podcasts. Another one we did in headline speaker was Jeremy Miner, and I was able to catch most of that one. If you guys aren't following Jeremy Miner, this guy, he just has some bombs that he drops. I would definitely recommend checking out Jeremy Miner's podcast. I think it's called Closers or Losers, if I'm not mistaken. But you can join. He has a Facebook group. And what's cool about him is he just teaches people It's called his NEPQ method, neuro emotional programming questions, I believe. Could be butchering that. But yeah, I've learned a lot from listening to him, and it's just he teaches how to basically like bypass people's programmed responses, and just the way he approaches it is just like the tonality you need to be speaking in, the words you need to say, how you can get around people thinking, oh, this is just some dumb sales guy coming to the door. Like, how do we need to act? What do we need to say? And that's what he talked about. Some of that stuff we go over in Solarpreneur podcast too, but it's just like, how do you approach yourself when you're knocking a door or doing a phone call, whatever? Like, what's the tonality you need to have? And so a lot of those things, Jeremy Miner, he shared with us when he's speaking from the stage. So super cool stuff. But yeah, he was the headline speaker for that day on Friday. And I did ask him if he wanted to do a podcast. Hopefully that'll be coming in the future. He sent me to his team, so I'm waiting on a response if we can get a podcast dialed up with him. So hopefully you'll agree. If you know Jeremy Miner, shoot me a good word. Shoot me a recommendation, because hopefully we can get him here on the show here pretty soon. Okay, but he crushed it. Jeremy Miner, stud. And then day 3, last but not least, this day I went and the morning I got invited to go do some jiu-jitsu with my buddy Alan Bolin, which he did a podcast with us a couple weeks back. Alan Bolin, he runs the company over there at Amp Titanium, the alarms, and then also Titanium Solar. Doing some incredible things with that organization. So go check out that podcast if you haven't already, but was able to go do some jiu-jitsu with him in the morning. So I missed out on some of the morning speakers, but really the highlight of Saturday is just we had Gary Vee come. Okay, everyone knows Gary Vee, and just like it was crazy him walking through. Everyone was just like standing up, like wondering what's going on. Jerry, he's a big deal. I did talk to the guys at Solarcon, which I think Jay Kess, he also mentioned this in a little pre-Solarcon episode, but they dropped, it was like 275 grand, something like that, for Gary Vee to come speak. So just insane. It's like, when you think about it, if you can command that much for 2 hours of your time to get paid over 100,000 per hour to come speak, it's like, man, that's the goal, right? That's the life we all want. That's the level we all want to hit someday, making over 100 grand per hour. But yeah, just really cool seeing him, and hearing some ways he applies social media, how he would do it if he were in solar. But it was just really eye-opening to see like how much he just thinks that it's important that we all need to be on social media. Hey, and so it really inspired me. I'm just like, okay, this train isn't going anywhere. You got to hop on the social media. And something interesting he shared is that social media, it might only be good for another 10 years or so. We don't really know the way things are headed. We're getting all this AI stuff, virtual reality, augmented reality. And so, in Gary Vee's opinion, he was just sharing that, hey, you need to jump on this train now. You need to ride it while it's high. And he just talked about how he has millions and millions of followers. He's been doing this 15 years now. But like, what's crazy is that someone can go produce content tomorrow, and they can literally get more views than him tomorrow. They can go viral. They can get more views. They can get more outreach than him. And he's been doing it 15 years. So he said that's the incredible thing about social media, is we can use this to our advantage. Like, we should be using social media to build up our teams, to build awareness. It's like our virtual business card, right? We should be building our brand on there. So yeah, just really got me thinking, okay, as much as I hate social media sometimes, as much as I tell myself that I'm not the greatest at it, like, I need to make sure I am making it a priority in business. Okay, not like skipping out on knocking doors, not putting it over everything else, but I think it's important for us all to think about social media and to use it to our advantage. Because, yeah, so much money. It's more of a long-term play, right? But we can be building up our teams with it. It can help us in recruiting. It can help us get more leads. It can help us close more deals. So definitely something that we want to be thinking about and applying. So Gary Vee crushed it and was awesome being able to hear from him. So those were just a few highlights. Not to get super in the weeds here. I didn't want to go through every single one I saw. But yeah, we're going to be dropping a lot of podcasts with speakers that actually spoke at Solarcon. So even if you weren't there, we got several guys and gals that were able to come on the podcast and share the secrets. So make sure you're tuning into the upcoming podcasts. I'm so excited to drop them. And I know they're going to be very beneficial to anyone that's listening. So make sure you tune into the next episode. Again, we have Christian DeLuca. He was on the recruiting panel with me, and just incredible how he's been able to build his company and just take off with more than 100 reps in not much more than a year of business of being his own installer and company up there in Northern California. So tune into that one. If you weren't at SolarCon, hopefully you can join us there next year. And then last thing, if you are looking for an opportunity in solar, we are bringing on a few people here in San Diego to come hang out with your boy, the Solarpreneur, and crush some deals. Our team is building insane momentum right now. So hit me up if you are looking for an opportunity. Taylor at solarpreneurs.com is the email, or you can also shoot me a DM on social media, Instagram, Facebook. I'll be sure to reply. So thanks for tuning in to the episode. We'll see you guys on the next one. Go close some deals this week. Happy selling.